Hello and welcome to hour 8 of the Indy Radio second annual 24-hour a-thon. I am one of your hosts, Kinte, and I'm joined by Shannon. How you doing, Shan?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good, man. I'm good. Thanks to Jen, as well as you're about to hear an echo. I'm sorry. The Indy Radio second annual 24-hour. I hate that part. Thanks to Jen and Josh. All right, what's up? Running for Zion. Jen and Josh, they held it down for me. It allowed me a little bit to rest and relax, and so I definitely appreciate that. And but I'm ready to go, stronger than ever. I feel like I'm about to sing Daft Punk. Better, faster, stronger.
Yeah. Every time you say Great Jen song. And Josh, I think of a Saturday morning Nickelodeon special. Nothing by that name, but it just sounds like they would be on a Nickelodeon special.
Jen and Josh. The Jen and Josh show. Zach and Cody.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like I need a pen.
So
okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna give a little backstory a little bit before we get into the topic, right?
Yeah.
And as people know, we've talked about this ad nauseum. I refer to it as the B word blab, the former site that a lot of us have met on. And one of the cool things about the site was we got a chance to meet cool ass people.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of people that were doing awesome content, and a lot of them you're gonna see tonight or today on the deal. One of the
Blab alumni is something special, man. There's just so many of us. And some of us still haven't met in person.
I am not Blab alumni.
Like Patricia A. Murray's in the chat, and she's definitely.
You were never on Blab with us?
She came later.
Never.
Oh,
never?
I see Body Song. Now, one of the cool people that I met on Blab is this brother right here, Brother Brooklyn. And before I get into what it was about, it reflects what we're gonna talk about. If you're not following Brooklyn on Instagram, please do. It's an aspirational Instagram follow. Okay, this brother is running for Zion says, tell Shannon I said hello.
Hello.
It's a aspirational like this brother is like the most interesting man in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like he always, and this cool thing is a lot of people put like fake like they're not really having
hi my Marisol.
So a lot of people have that fake life that they post. This brother, you can tell it's legit, and and it seems like you have like a cool circle too. You can see that, and so
and his beard is delicious.
Well, I'll let her say that.
If I do
Thank you, Shannon.
So myself.
But
thank you, Shannon. I appreciate the little dance too.
So on Blab, this brother used to do a program with, I don't know why I didn't think to hit her up. Stephanie
Golston.
Golston, right. I don't know what I was not thinking, but Stephanie Golston, and the name of the show was called The 42%. And I remember, like, real talk, the first couple times I saw it, I loved it and everything, but I was thinking, like, how many shows can they do? And then I think
a lot.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
It's kind of like SVU, right? When I first
right. How many special victims can there be?
Right.
Very many is the answer to that question.
Right.
A lot.
So
talk about this 42%.
Yeah. So I'm setting up the stage. Go ahead. Tell everybody about that program. It was an amazing program.
Okay. Stephanie created a program called the 42%. Stephanie is a life coach and a dating coach, and at the time an attorney in DC, working for the federal government. But a topic close to her heart was when she read articles and books about the fact that 42% of Black women in America were unmarried. And we were talking about that 42% that wanted to be. I mean, it's fine if you don't want to be married and it's not your thing, but these women wanted to be married and they weren't, compared to other racial and ethnic groups in our country. So we were basically doing an ongoing investigation of why that was the trend and how we could reverse the trend, and how each individual woman who had as an aspiration to be married, how she could change the tide in her favor, as in and that could happen in many ways, right? If you are sitting on the couch and expecting Idris Elba to knock on your door, then that's not going to happen. But if you are
not anymore anyway, because he married.
Yes, but at this time, this was a couple years ago. But
I know.
As an example, so you have to make the things you want to happen in life happen.
Yeah.
And it so happened that Stephanie and I at the time were both working at the Paul Carrick-Brunson agency, a matchmaking agency. To my knowledge, the largest of its kind. Paul Carrick-Brunson was one of the only male matchmakers on the planet, and one of the only major Black matchmakers on the planet. And we both worked, besides our day job main careers, we both worked with this agency, and it was fun, and it was fascinating. And you got to find out that so many Black women with incredible careers, these women were beautiful people and they had incredible careers, and in a lot of cases, in their minds, the only thing that they were missing was the husband that they wanted, or even the relationship that they wanted. But what I've known is that when you want to date, and when you want to have a good time dating and date the kind of people that you want to date, that's only by fate and luck in romantic comedies. In real life, you have to do something. You know what I'm saying? You're at Target. This is for men or women. You're at Target and there's an attractive person, you're looking for a happy birthday card for your mom. They might be picking out something for a bridal shower. There's an opportunity to say something there. There's an opportunity to meet a stranger that may become more than a stranger. And while speaking back about the matchmaking agency, our clients were, top lawyers at their firms. They were doctors. They were women who owned businesses. They were women who they might have a staff of 50 people under them. For some reason, when they got home or when they clocked out, it didn't translate, like their level of interpersonal skills. It just did not translate into the romantic realm, because it's just a different skill set.
So, we've had people on this program, sisters, who talk about that, they're very adept at their job, they're, very intelligent, and not in good people, but they have a hard time when it comes to dating, as far as they maybe their facial expressions don't show how they really feel. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not good with just general conversation in there. Maybe they give off the wrong impression sometimes when they're not trying to. So there's that's a recurring thing that I kept hearing is, I suck at these are professional women. I suck at the it's like a guy who is like a astrophysicist or something, right? A smart dude, right? But you put him in front of a girl,
ladies.
Right? You put him in front of a girl, he don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? So he can't calculate those, right? It sounds like I'm from. But so like, okay, we often talk about guys needing game. Do women need game? Like, just being able to with the mouthpiece and all that.
I believe so. I mean, it's not I always say that humans are animals with driver's licenses. And this is why I say that. I was watching just today, there's a documentary on, people who know I love nature, right?
Me too.
And there's a documentary right now on Netflix about birds. It's only about birds and the way birds dance, the way birds try to attract each other, the way birds go about their lives. And people think of birds as just these simplistic animals, but they live complicated lives as well.
Their mating game
Here's
is dope.
Say again, Shannon?
Their mating game is dope. I'm a big
The mating game is
bird watcher.
Is dope,
like,
right?
It is.
They were in one scene they were showcasing this bird. He took 5 months or something to build a tower out of twigs and everything. And it was a beautiful creation. Like, just objectively, if you walked by it, you'd be like, "What is this? This is beautiful," right? He builds it so that the ladies can see it, right? So he's building his tower, and then they show another bird of his same species. This guy was not building his tower. What he was doing was going over to bird A's tower and sabotaging it every time bird A went away he was knocking the hustle. He was hating the player, right? And it was like, dude, get your life together and you could have, some for yourself. You could have your tower too. Right. And then they had another one where there were two beautiful birds. They were like black and they had like blue crests, and they would do this dance in tandem. It was like, having a backup dancer, but they would both do this dance, and the female birds would come, but only the alpha of those two. It was like a guy and his employee. They would do the dance together, and then the boss would get the female that chose them, right?
Right.
It was just like he was the wingman. Exactly, Shannon. There's so many, and you see that throughout birds, which is why male birds are often pretty colorful. Like if you see ducks, the duck, the mallard that's just all brown, that's female, and the male has like a greenish, bluish collar around his neck. There's always something flashy. A bright red robin in your backyard, that's male robin. The female is brownish and she only has like a little speck of red on her. And it's like that really a lot in the animal kingdom. The male peacocks have this, and it's because it's showing, look, if I'm this colorful and this bright and I'm looking like food, yet no wolf, no eagle, nothing, no dog or cat has eaten me, then I'm powerful and my genes can help you
populate
and your
earth.
offspring. I can protect you, right? And that's what it's about. So back to your question, there are skills and there are skills that men have and skills that women have. Like they found, for instance, people have always tried to make themselves look better, but when we're talking about things like makeup and lipstick, that stuff is found in, in the pyramids and in Egyptian tombs, right? Like there's always been magic. A woman wants to look taller, more voluptuous. She wants to look more attractive to her mate. So she picks her colors, her jewelry, and we all fall for it. I can only speak for myself. As a man, you see the bracelets and the jewelry and the adornments, and it signifies in the same way as the peacock. It signifies, well, this woman is doing well enough that she has the time and the resources to have her hair done in an attractive way, whatever it may be, long, short, whatever, right? Colorful. She has her hair and her body and her clothing. Everything is chosen with care, like when you like a woman's style. So to me, that's game on a woman's part. A man has to, I'm only speaking for myself and for my brethren, right?
Mm-hmm.
A man has to have a mouthpiece in a certain aspect. When we were young, we meet a woman. I'm from New York City.
Right.
If you met a girl, I'm a teenager, you meet a girl, you have seconds. They have the subway face on, so you have to crack, you have to crack this barrier. Like if you don't make her smile, you might as well keep it moving, right?
Right.
So women have this thing where they present their best selves, and then that kind of does the work for them. But it doesn't hurt if you help fate. Like there's some things that we do subconsciously, right? If you're somewhere and you see an attractive person across the room, right? You don't know if they find you attractive. You're minding your business, and then 2 minutes later, they're on your side of the room. That's weird. Then you turn around and they're right there. That's weird. She's coming to you, or he's coming to you, and like they have themselves in your presence. Now, I don't think a woman needs the kind of game that like that a man like Kinte has. I think that she just needs a little bit. She needs to be able to say, okay, I'm going to. I think I don't want to call it easier because I don't want to turn it into a battle of the sexes, right?
Right.
But Shannon sees a guy, and Shannon's like, "Oh, I like your sweater." It's low risk in that you can like anyone's sweater. You know what I'm saying? I compliment people all the time because I'm not afraid to compliment people, and it's a nice thing to do. Because sometimes someone has the sweater on and they were on the fence about it. But if 2 or 3 people in the same day say they're like, oh, you know what? This sweater was a good idea, right?
Yep.
So you say, I like your sweater, and then he's like, I like your glasses and I think you're pretty.
Oh.
It can go, you know what I'm saying? It can go somewhere from there, right?
Yeah.
So you can help, because so many men are afraid to, and I think this is historically, and it's actually increasing now. The guys that have little to no game, they were always afraid, and now they're super afraid. Like, well, if I tell her she has nice glasses, she's gonna be it's gonna be a Me Too thing. No, idiot. That's not sexual harassment. That's a compliment. Right. Like,
it is a compliment.
Don't be foolish, right? Like, an adult knows that there are boundaries and should know right from wrong, right?
Right.
So a woman can do so many things, and number one really is getting out of the house. There's online dating and stuff, and that's cool, but there are also I've never been in my whole life a person interested in dating anyone in or around work. I want to, that's just me. I've known people to literally marry someone right where they work.
I do not pick up my paycheck and my penis at the same place. Sorry, cannot.
Let me write that down. I think that's Shakespeare, right?
Yeah, right.
Shannon.
I love that. Cannot. Shall not.
Ted Shakespeare.
Paycheck. I'm writing it down. It's funny. So that's the kind of thing, and that's what we, when you're a dating coach, you try to help your client, saying, hey, look, there these social situations, everyone has ease, right? Men and women, people are afraid to talk to the person they're attracted to, but they can talk to their best friend for 3 hours on a couch or on a road trip. Like, no one's afraid to talk to people that they're comfortable with.
That's
so
true.
You have to try to increase your general level of comfort, especially with guys. I tell guys, like, men will walk into a social space, like a festival or a conference or a party, and talk to no one, and then talk to no one for 2 hours, and then wonder why they're stuck when they see a beautiful woman that they want to meet, right? You're not warmed up at all. You haven't done, you don't have the social juices flowing. Wherein if you went in and you were like, hey man, I love those shoes. Hey, how you doing? Where you from? And you're just talking to people, and you're just and I know it's also very hard for introverts, but if you're just talking to people, then it's a bit easier for you to say, hey, you've been talking to people for an hour. You see this woman, and you're like, hey, my name's Brooklyn. What's your name? Oh, I'm Shannon. Hey, Shannon. You see what I'm saying? It's not like I'm not using my voice for the first time in 2 hours. So I think everyone needs to find their own strengths and weaknesses, but dating coaches, that's one of the reasons date coaching is in big business, because people have everything else handled, and then they're like, but I don't have the romantic life I want, and I don't, the good thing is, if you recognize this is just not your skill set. I mean, we do it for everything else. Your heat goes out, you call the people. Your AC goes out, you call the people. You need something installed, you call the people. Your car's making a funny noise, you call the people. But then, you don't have the romantic life you have, and you're like, oh, I guess Jesus doesn't want me to have a mate. Like, no, you can do something about it.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. Shannon, see, now Shannon, you're a poet.
I am.
You
sure is.
You have you have all these skills. You're very good with the in the chat. But
what's in the chat?
You have all these skills. Hilarious.
I was like,
oh my, Stephanie. Shouts to Stephanie.
Yeah,
hilarious as always.
So sad.
So so you're very good with the words and whatnot.
I am.
Do you find yourself, Shannon,
wordsmith, if you will?
So I've been single for so long, my brother.
Are you looking for someone who can at least match your wittiness?
I did not know Shannon was single. I could have sworn.
I would say match. I would say compliment.
Compliment. Okay.
I think, and I think this has always been my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when I have met someone, and I hate to say this out loud, but I say it all the time, I get bored easy. By conversation, by action or lack of action. And so if you aren't keeping my attention, and I don't mean by things, just by who you are as a person, I'm back to reading my Kindle and drinking some tea by myself. But I've also not found anybody in the cities, I guess, that I've been in that I've been like the last time I was in a relationship, it was 2014, and I should have never been in that relationship. It was fun, but it wasn't forever, and it wasn't going to be. So for me, especially the older I get, like I'm pushing close to 40, and it's just like at the end of the day, I want somebody who makes sense, not just on paper, but in person. You know, somebody who makes me laugh and can carry on a conversation, and who is content sometimes in silence and solitude, because I don't need to be up under you. I have my own calendar of events, and I know how to keep myself busy. And when I don't, I can go walk my dog. So I'm single. For many reasons, but there is no options in Key West. So I have dated for most of my adult life. I've dated people that didn't live in the same city as me. But I also haven't lived in Key West my whole life. But cities that I've lived in, the selections was just like, really though?
You know, in most major cities, for sure, damn near everywhere, it's usually, when it comes to the single population, it's more women than there are men. I believe more male babies are born, but prison and war and all of that kind of stuff, it thins the numbers out. Bar fights, so like, we often talk about like a place like Atlanta where the numbers are out of whack, man. Like, it's 22-1, I think, something like that. And that's not including the homosexual.
That's what they say,
but you also got to look at the reality, like, and this is, me and my girlfriends have had this conversation before, and just having this conversation with people. Teddy, do not start. Teddy about to get mad. He does not like this topic, apparently.
Yeah.
But you gotta mark off, one, the men who don't like you, the men who don't like women, the men who won't date Black women, the men who are under cover or in the closet, the men who unfortunately, by life experience and societal stereotypes or norms, have more kids than you're adequately equipped to handle. Like one of my friends, he has 6 kids and 5 baby mamas. And I said, you want somebody to marry you? It could happen. I'm going to keep hope alive for you, bruh. But you would not be on my radar. Just saying.
But does he want someone to marry him?
He does.
Really?
But he had a lot of them young. He's almost 42. And most of his kids are about to graduate, are in high school at this point. So if that's any indication of the life he's lived, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is we have to break down all of these men who are not necessarily even in the category to date anyway. And then top it off with what Kinte just said, that there's so many of us, and not just us as in women, us as in you have options, like, quality women, educated women, women who love the Lord, women who Bible thump, women who, are ladies in the street and freaks in the, where I'm going. And so there's a myriad of options to choose from.
Tell us where you're going, Shannon.
Where I'm going? I sit on the top of the tree, and I'm not trying to just shake it so I can fall off and have somebody trample over me. I'm waiting for them to come along.
A person has to have standards.
I'm just saying. So at the end of the day, I've had people want to bake a pie only so they can sample it, and I'm just not with it. And then I'm just like,
that's fair.
And I want to date with a purpose. I want to be married. So, and it's not like I'm pining away waiting for that. If it don't happen, I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing. I eat my own tacos. I eat my own popcorn. And I take myself out on dates. And I'm okay with all that. But spending your life with somebody, especially the older I get, I find it's worth it.
So how far are you willing to, like, physically, like, geographically
Oh,
travel for
homie,
this
I keep a
love receipt?
backpack. I
Oh,
keep a
okay.
bag. You could ask. I am the
Because, like, I
adventurous.
have friends in DC that are
Like,
like, oh, if this woman does not live in the same quadrant of, I live in Northwest. If she lives in, if she lives in
mm,
Northeast, then we can't date. And it's like, dude,
I
that's a
keep a
few blocks
bag.
away, but okay.
My Brooklyn. My friends call me the Wanderer, but they call me the Wanderer for many reasons. Like, and not only that, they be like, you are the most agreeable because you can pick up and go at a moment's notice.
Mm.
You aren't bound. Even though I'm a career woman, I'm still not bound to my career. I have made my boss very much aware. If anybody in this group of family members passes, I'm sorry, I gotta go. And if I
Yeah,
find
no doubt.
love, I gotta go. I'm sorry. Bye-bye. So yeah, I'm with it. I keep a backpack. I don't need a whole lot. I could leave half of this stuff here if I needed to, or throw it in the trash. But yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great flexibility. Sorry to cut you. That's great flexibility, because in this modern age where a lot of people have the ability to, work from home or work remotely, especially if they're a creative type, or if they're just in a some people go to the office twice a week, once a week. Some people can adjust their schedules, and so that way, if love presents itself, or at least a cool dating opportunity presents itself, then
Yeah.
you're like, look, all I need is a Wi-Fi connection. I can be in LA for the next week, or and I can, as we hang out, get to know each other, because you have to, and that's why a game is necessary, and that's why having a dating skill set is necessary.
Yeah.
I believe for men and women, because you want to put your best foot forward,
This
and
is true.
we're really doing this exchange of value, right? Where we're talking to each other, we're walking through a museum, we're eating at a restaurant, we're going to, an event, and we are seeing how we move through the world and how that complements the other person. And so dating is, you have to find someone you're interested in. You have to date them and find out about who they are and how they are, right? Like, anyone can act nice for a minute. Anyone can act decent for a minute, but if you're looking, you can always see through the cracks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're on a date with a guy, I said this just today, if you're on a date with a guy and he's being nice to you, and at some point his mother calls and he's like barking on his own mom on the phone, like, that's a Blues Clue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that everyone's mom is the best person on the planet, but the kind of man who is screaming at his mom on the phone in front of you, like, it's, to me, it's a red flag.
Yeah.
So we're dating in order to ascertain exactly, what it is about this person. And, the resume isn't everything, because some
No, it's
people
not.
are great on paper. Like,
Yep.
they kick ass at work, and they literally might be rich, famous, drop dead gorgeous, whatever the case may be, but that doesn't mean that they're compatible with you. That
That
doesn't mean that the chemistry is there with you, that the love can be there with you, that they have, integrity, that they'd be loyal, so that these dates, and this dating process, it's all essentially an investigation, not an interview, because we've all been, I think most men listening to this, we've been on a date where a woman is like checking the block, just
yeah.
she's all but asking for your tax returns and 401k statements. you know, we've been on that kind of date. And we've also seen where people are kind of trying to hide who they are and only showing the best. But you know, we all have great features. We all have quirks, you know, and it's not that everybody wants to lay out their flaws immediately, but you know, we all have those flaws. And the difference is for me, the difference is in the deal breakers, right?
Yeah,
Like if you
absolutely.
cannot stand cigarette smoke, then like I don't care how pretty she is. You know, I don't want my house smelling like cigarettes. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
So it's just one of those things.
I agree.
That's interesting about the you know, we talk about our deal breakers and stuff, and a lot of times I feel like I agree with you. Like a lot of us will, you know, we'll change our deal breakers for certain people. You know, you like, you know, she pretty bad. A little smoke ain't gonna kill me. You know, like you know,
Yeah.
that stuff like that. Yeah, and I think
I mean, people do that, but does that last?
It does
You
not.
know,
It does
when you
not.
know,
Coming from experience.
no, my thing is like if you keep it across the board, you're gonna win more than you lose. Like if you keep your same principles, you know. So yeah. Let's see. We are y'all are well adjusted to injustice. Okay. Tracy J says good morning, y'all. What's
Hi,
up?
my
morning,
sunshine.
Tracy.
Yes.
I'll
So
see you in 2 days, Tracy J.
so okay, let's get some advice for we've already been given some advice for the
Yeah,
40.
give me some advice. I'm in the 42%.
Yeah. Like wait, since you have done that show, has that number changed at all? As far as you know?
I don't believe so.
Oh,
No.
wow.
Look, I could tell them that. I'm at a number.
Wow. So yeah, so what's some advice for like this young lady and other young ladies who are in the 42% who feel like, you know, they're not gonna get the guy they're looking for or whatever?
Well, I think that it's as I alluded to earlier, you have to put yourself in the game. You
Yep.
know, you have to increase your opportunities. You have to increase your visibility. You know, as modern, the times we live in, there's all this technology, yet there's still an opportunity for people to meet organically, right? You hang out with your friends, and you know, because from the beginning of time, it's always been about social connections, right? Like, you don't date people at work, but
Right.
you may be at at the party or a barbecue of an associate, and you know, they have a cousin in town, and the cousin brings a friend that lives locally to the barbecue, and you meet this person that you would not have met if you didn't go to the barbecue. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, you are you should be active in doing things you like to do. I'm part of
For
the
sure.
BMW Car Club of America. You know, we have social events, we go on trips, we go on road trips, we go and do things. And while you're hanging out and doing things, whatever you're into, you might be into boating, horse races, you might be into car shows, whatever you're into, there are other people there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you might whatever chess club. I don't care. There are other people out there, and you can meet someone while you're enjoying life and doing the things you want to do. You know, like when we were younger, it was like, oh, I wonder where the women are going to be. But then it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that. It can be. This is what I like to do. You know, if you go out like a city like DC, I live in Maryland, but I'm in DC all the time. You see people out doing. I was in DC last Saturday. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I looked around, and thousands of people were out, running and jogging and walking, like just around the monuments. And it's like a social thing,
Yeah,
I mean, so you might like running. I hate running. You might
I
like
do too.
running, and
I hate
and you're
running.
and you're and you're out there running or in a running group, and you meet some interesting people, and then you stop for brunch or whatever after the run, whatever happens, and then you meet someone there. Like they weren't even running with you, but they were out, and you were out with your running group, and you meet someone. Like
Yeah,
you have to live your life. You have to get outside.
Amen. Yes. Yes. I mean, you can't say that enough.
Stephanie says, what can you do if you find yourself hardly attracted to anyone, even though you want to be dating?
well now,
Stephanie, so Steph, I mean, move your pivot. You're probably what's the scientific term for it? You're in a location with dusty mofos, and and you need to be somewhere else where the people are dusty.
All right, here's from YouTube. One of you guys want to take that?
I can read it. I'm around many successful women, and being a heterosexual stand-up male that's successful, there's not many of us out here. However, some women have outlandish standards. Okay, so I'm gonna say something, and I am by no means a dating expert, but I do have some intelligence to add to the conversation. I think that who you are attracted to and what you attract, in essence, can be two different things. And I am going to take a part of what my brother, my dear sweet Brooklyn said, in moving your pivot, because sometimes you are in circles with outlandish people because they live in outlandish communities. And so sometimes you might need to step outside of this comfort zone of what you've been looking for and be attracted to a different package. Sometimes those quirks are what have kept you away from talking to this person who may, if you dig deeper in getting to know them, may meet everything that you have. But the quirks have kept you away from, oh no, she's not my type. I mean, because women do it too. We look at men's package and be like, I can't, he ain't got everything I want, but he could be a really dope and awesome human being. So I would just say, brother, you successful, you doing you. What's your character look like? And then once you know all those things about yourself, don't be afraid to try out somebody who you normally would not. You might be pleasantly surprised. That's my 2 cents.
Agreed.
You can catch it if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a brilliant point. When I found it interesting about midway last year when I had a breakup, and I got, I waited for it to all settle down, and then I got on some dating apps, and
Okay,
I was surprised to see what some women will put a whole few paragraphs about what they're looking for, right?
Oh yeah.
And one of the things that we I think we even discussed it on 42%, because we learned it at some seminar that Stephanie and I were at, Stephanie G. We were at when we were doing some of our matchmaking training. It said that, I think when you look up and to the left, you're accessing memories. 3.9% of the men in the United States of America are 6'2" or taller.
How many?
I'm 6'4", which is like 99th percentile. 3.9%.
Oh, okay, so a very small number, but everybody want them.
Very small number, right? But when you look on dating profiles, women are like, no men below 6 feet. No man. I'm looking for a man 6'4", 6'2", and I'm like, it doesn't. I don't lose sleep over it. I'm 6'4", but most of my friends aren't. And they're great guys. They might be 5'8". You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're looking for someone 6'4". You're 4'10". What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No, you're 5'7". What are you talking about? What do you need? But again, this is a thing that goes back to caveman days, and
Shoot,
and the
Brooklyn,
numbers
you
are just
shooting.
not there. 3.9.
You
No,
shooting,
the
Brooklyn.
numbers are
I'm
not there.
5'6". Thank
So
you
if
very much.
so if you're ignoring the guy that really likes you because he's 5'10", and he's a good dude, he's 5'10", he's not 6 feet, or whatever. It's you're not doing yourself the best level of service. I mean, every dude wants a supermodel. Every woman wants a tall, handsome, well guy. Like everybody wants
What they can't have.
these fantasy projections of people. But when you really look into it now, I'm not at all advocating anyone date someone they are not attracted to.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not, because attraction is super important. It's important to me personally, and I believe it's important to any relationship. You want
Absolutely.
to, and again, it's a very personal thing. You don't have to find the woman I'm with attractive. I do. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I also believe in chemistry, wherein, like, the person who your friends, like the dude who your friends think is the most handsome dude they ever saw you date, is not necessarily the dude who you had the best chemistry. It's two different things in my experience. So you're trying to find the best mix, if you will, of personality, attractiveness, chemistry, charm, whatever, for you. But again, in order to do that, you have to, get out there. But if your profile, for instance, has, this Prince Charming would have hit you up, he's 5'10", but your profile is like, look, if you ain't as tall as LeBron, don't hit me. You're not gonna hear from that guy.
5'10" men don't like me. I'm just gonna put that out there. That's why I'm laughing, because the last 3 guys I've talked to have all been 5'10". I said 5'10" men don't like me.
How
Did you
tall
hear
are you,
me?
Shannon?
I'm 5'6".
I heard that you said 10 men don't like you. What does that mean?
I said 5'10". 5'10" men don't like me. I said, because the last 3 men I've talked to have been 5'10".
Oh, they do like you. Okay, good. Got you. Well,
No, they don't. They don't.
They did.
I think they like this, and I say this all the time on Mars and Venus show. I don't care what nobody say. Kinte always be like, yeah, whatever. I think men like the idea of me.
Yeah.
You're breaking up. You saying what now?
I said, I think men like the ideal of me, not necessarily the reality.
What is the ideal or the idea of you? So
I
they
don't
like
know.
the
You have to
avatar.
ask,
They like
you have to ask the
the
men, because
representation.
yeah, I think it's what they see. Like, I always get, oh, you're so beautiful, your skin is so smooth, you're so smart, and then of course you get hit with that infamous question, well, why are you single? And so we unpack that, because I don't have any transparency issues. I mean, if you need to know my business and to help better determine what you want, I'm here for it, because I want you to meet who you're gonna meet, which is me and the true me. And I don't want you to be like, oh, I didn't know you, because you're different now. No, you're gonna get what you get. My mama said it's easier to just be yourself. But when we meet, because again,
Mama's wise.
Yes, shout outs to Gloria Ford, my boo. When we meet in real life, because again, I'm not meeting anybody in Key West. It's just like, oh, like you is real. Like you are exactly who you said you were. You thought I was catfishing you? You thought you was gonna get something different? I'm sorry. And then so I get bored because I do want to be pursued. And if you ain't in the pursuing business, then I holla.
Crystal Tucker says, "What are the top 5 questions you'd ask your date before you consider a relationship?"
What are my top 5?
Yeah.
Well, I always ask a question about their relationship with Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I do ask about children, and specifically if they want more, if they already have them, or if they don't have any and they want kids. Because for the longest time, I've not wanted kids, and that's a whole nother long story. Not just not wanting them, but can't have them and not interested. And so I am more appreciative of men with kids. So those are my top 2. How do they like to spend their time outside of work and on holiday? And what does their family dynamic look like? And then what is their communicative style? How do they like to communicate? So those are probably my top 5. Because those things are important to me. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time with you past the first 2, because I'm not going to pretend like we about to be falling in love and you don't know who Jesus is and you want 10 kids. I can't do nothing with you. I'm not going to make you happy. And that's okay, because everything ain't for everybody.
Well, the Jesus question is very important, Shannon.
So, it is for me.
Well, my thing is this. I feel like that's one of those things. When you're really unequally yoked, can be a big issue, especially if it's like you a Baptist and she's a Satan worshiper. So that's a.
And don't get me wrong. You can literally make anything work with anybody. I think it's just going to be a lot more difficult over time. Because all it takes is a willingness to put in the work. And so if you see somebody and you digging them, you're like, yeah, he ain't got all these things though, or she ain't got all these things though, but I really, really like her, or I really, really like him. You got to do the work. And that may be hard. But I try to look for the chemistry and the compatibility and the connectiveness and the way we communicate with each other as a way to set the tone for what's going to happen moving forward. And if those things are off for me, I'm good. Like, we don't have to be together. And I think that's part of the problem too. People see somebody and they hone in on them or zone in on them and they got to be with that person.
Right.
But it's like, you still got to do the work. You still got to find out if they're actually compatible for you, not just y'all look good standing next to each other. Right. It's a lot of things that look good standing next to each other.
Right.
Well, I have to.
When we have the current social media trend and people are, they want to look good in a couple on Instagram, that kind of causes them to ignore the real life work that has to take place.
Oh, for sure, Brooklyn. You already know this. You know for a fact that we spend a lot of time, and that's a problem with the trend of social media. We're too busy looking at everyone else and quoting hashtag goals. But the thing is they don't see the entire relationship of that person. They just see what they posted. And that is, a snapshot of their life. They didn't see them arguing about, well, you left the eggshell in this omelet this morning. Why did you do that for the 15th time? Or why did you squeeze the toothpaste from the middle instead of from the bottom? Or why are your socks next to the dirty clothes hamper and not in them? We don't see those parts of people's relationships. We only see, her MAC makeup number 10 and his new fresh cut from the barbershop. And they dressed to the nines about to go on a date. But you missed the part when they came home because he ate all the popcorn and wouldn't get a refill, and she missed half the movie trying to get some. Now she got home and he couldn't get some. We missing all that on Snapchat. We missing all that on Instagram. We missing all that on Facebook. But you see all over these famous people or these Instagram successful people, goals, goals, goals. Everybody's grass is green where they water it, but you still got to do the work. And I think people are missing that big picture. If you want something to be fruitful, if you want something to show itself worthy in your life, there's going to have to be some effort exerted. There's going to have to be some energy expelled. You know, diamonds come from pressure. Olives, you got to get the oil out of it, so you got to press it. You know, there's work, there's energy, there's exertion that has to take place to see something beautiful form from that, or something beneficial to you or nourishing to your soul. That's no different in a relationship. And I think people don't want to do the work. It's Kinte. Oh, I thought Kinte was frozen. I was about to say, what is happening? Because that face was about to make me crack up. Yeah, so again, I carry around a lot of copper coins, my little pennies. So those are my 2 cents.
All right. Well, I have
that makes sense.
have to bring this segment to a close so the next people can come on. But I want to thank you once again, Brooklyn. How can we get you? Social media and all that good stuff?
You can find me at Instagram, king__Brooklyn. You can find me on Twitter at BrooklynPCB. You can find me on Facebook, Brooklyn Taylor, or Brooklyn Taylor Tech. And yeah, you can contact me anywhere. I'm here, and I appreciate it. Good to see you guys. Yawn, good to talk to you, as always.
Right.
Thank you,
Thanks
Brooklyn.
everybody for watching.
We look forward to it.
Thank you so much. Shannon, how can we get you?
See you guys soon.
Same as always. See you, Brooklyn. Same as always. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Shannon Ford, like the president, _Jefferson, like the president.
All right. And me, Kinte F. And Kinte F on Twitter, Kinte Fergerson on Instagram. And of course, the website is indyradio.org, indyradio.org. Peace.
Bye.
Good night.